Dun, 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 dun. It's crypto night in Canada. Yay!
Hey, yo.
How's everybody doing tonight? You guys
Good.
good?
Yeah, we're doing fantastic.
That's good, good, good. I love your sign on the back there. Pac-Man ate my lunch in the metaverse. Candace has gotten right into the theme tonight. Brian, how you doing?
Rocking and rolling. I hope, yeah, same old, same old. Weather sucks here in Calgary, but that's okay.
Why,
Spring
what's
is
the
around.
weather there?
I don't know. We got like a cold snap of -20, which doesn't seem so bad after the -40s, but it's only for a few days.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, that is horrible. That's really horrible. It's cold here today, but it's cold here in Ontario. We've got really, really wet snow coming down, heavy wet snow, the yucky kind, not the nice, light, fluffy stuff. This is the kind you can make snowmen with, but there's so much dirt from the last couple of days of it, melting off that they're going to be dirty snowmen that are being made.
Yeah, I was about 4 here today.
Yeah, see, there you go. So and Len's saying you had decent temps like +8 recently in Calgary, so you get that all winter, right?
Pretty much. Yeah, it's been between +7 and +12 for the last month, so it's been pretty good. I can't complain.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, we got Gary in the house, and Jason's here, and Jenster, and Zach, and Marie Claude, and Dave D, and Sandra, and Genuine, and Shirab, that's nice to see you. Okay, so I thought we would do something a little bit off the wall and fun tonight. Obviously, from the title, we're going to talk about food, a subject that is near and dear to my heart. I got invited to attend a food webinar. It was called Simulate, with ATE being in capital. And it was called the Food, Metaverse, and NFT Mini Summit. And I didn't even know there was that much going on with food in the metaverse. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. And of course, then that will parlay into Candace giving us an update on her NFT, or not NFT, the Metaverse the Metaverse coins and stock picks. Oh my God.
I actually have a Metaverse food dream. So in this dream, I'm in the Metaverse. I'm playing a game. A little hungry, so I walk into a pub, I place my order. Meanwhile, in the real world, somebody makes that order, delivers it to my robot, and then my robot brings it to me, and I don't even have to leave the game, and I'm eating mutton and chops right there. That's my dream.
Hey, listen, you wait. I'm going to show you some that's really happening, and how is it all going to play out in the future. I did get a lovely little email request from Len if we could start off with some inflation talk. And so I know people like to hear the latest and greatest updates on inflation. So I've got two pertinent ones for this week that you should be aware of. So I'm just going to pull up my email really quick so I can make sure I represent it really well. So the dairy update, because that would have taken effect as of yesterday. And you might not immediately see it in the grocery stores. You may have already seen it. I'm not sure how retail passes these costs along. So I'm just going to kind of explain how the Canadian Dairy Council decides to increase prices. So they did a big announcement and set an unprecedented price increase effective February 1st. The cost of milk used to make dairy products will increase by an average of 8.4%. Let that sink in for a minute. That's a big increase. We've never seen anything like this. However, item-specific increases will be higher than this depending on the butterfat content and what amount vendors are planning to add from a manufacturing standpoint to offset their rising operational costs. So item-specific increases will be shared. Well, they're talking about how they're going to tell us that we'll get letters about what's going up and all that sort of stuff. So it sounds like fluid dairy probably won't go up as high. This is the dairy cost that it takes for manufacturers to manufacture things like cheese and yogurt and sour cream and all that sort of stuff. The manufacturers are going to get an 8.4% increase starting February 1st, and then that will be passed along as they manufacture the goods. So has anybody seen rising price?
I swear to gosh, this bothers me. So, if you go to like No Frills or Food Basics or whatever in Ontario, you can usually find pretty cheap prices. I don't go there as much because I find selection a little bit lower. So I just went to a regular grocery store, I guess you could say. One grocery bag, okay? One freaking grocery bag. My total was $64. And yes, I had to get some meat in there, and everything was ridiculously expensive. I'm kind of cheesed, actually. But beef has gone up like crazy. I know that in Alberta, when I moved here, I used to be able to get a AAA grade steak, like a big 1-inch thick bad boy for $8 or $9. Now it's like $15 to $17 for the same steak. So it's ridiculous.
Yeah, no, it's and Redbeard's right. He's seeing a lot of shrinkflation going on. So does everybody understand what that is? Like that's where it looks on the surface like it's the same product and the price hasn't changed. But in fact, what it is that they've reduced the packaging, and they're tricky about it. Like if you think about a bottle, like have a look underneath and see if it's pushed upwards. They're doing that with peanut butter a lot. You'll notice that the peanut butter jar looks exactly the same, but it's gone up. Or they've made the walls of the container thicker. The cereal box, if you can even get cereal, because Kellogg's has been on strike. So if you're wondering why Kellogg's is out, almost all of the cereal manufacturers have been on rotating strikes. Just in case you're wondering, why is there a shortage of cornflakes on the shelf or whatever? It's because the manufacturers and they have both been out on strike. So there you go.
Well, look at potato chips. I bet you they didn't have that much air in them 100 years ago.
Did we do potato chips 100 years ago?
I don't know. Okay, seriously, though, honestly, I rarely, almost never in my life eat potato chips, but those are not cheap. Like when I go and treat myself to a bag of Miss Vicky's salt and vinegar and I'm breaking like a $10 bill for it, I'm kind of blown away for a bag of chips. But I don't snack that much on that, but it's a little bit much.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. So, and then here is the most recent one. I got this email on January 31st. So that would have been Monday. Again, this is an internal correspondence. It said, as you might be aware, a vaccine mandate has been put in place for cross-border drivers, requiring all drivers to be fully vaccinated. The capacity crunch due to the mandates is putting strain on the number of available drivers, which results in additional costs for those loads. It is estimated that 15 to 30% of all available drivers will no longer be able to service the cross-border market. As a result, carriers are charging a premium for cross-border shipments, and we will need to implement freight increases on the attached lanes. So they gave me a giant list of things. We did a comprehensive review of all cross-border lanes, and as you will see, the increase is not a flat percentage across the board. Some lanes are not being adjusted at all. That is because we had to look at each lane in detail and only pass all. So they're talking about where they're going to pass, because some things they're not taking an increase on. It was already in the right space. But I just thought that the rest of the correspondence goes on to say, we are trying to mitigate the impact to customers where possible, but unfortunately the vaccine mandate compounded with increased inflation, fuel surcharges, and limited carrier capacity have made these increases necessary. So they're going into effect. They're going to be in effect Thursday, March 10th. So they're estimating that that's when we're going to see the impact, because we already have stuff in our building. We're not going to charge on stuff we've already got. We'll wait till we get replenishments kind of thing. So I don't want to go down the rabbit hole, but I just wanted to, in a real life scenario, explain why there might have been some anger on my side. If you were watching Rye's show on Sunday night, you can see why I'm bubbling up with anger on some of this stuff, because it has real world impact that most people don't really realize until all of a sudden you go to purchase things and you go, why the heck is this so expensive? That is why. So I can pause, we can chat about it, or I can move on to more exciting things.
Let's go on to the next topic. If it comes back, let's loop back to it. But let's go on to the next thing that you had going.
Oh, okay. So on to the awesome seminar that I was at yesterday, all about the food metaverse and NFT mini summit. And it was put on by a company called The Spoon. So that started off with two people that were talking, and one was representing something called devourtoken.com. I'm going to see if I can pull up devourtoken.com. I'm going to share my screen so you guys can see it. So this is, it's actually a token. It's on Uniswap. They have, it talks about from the largest international brands to our favorite local dives, restaurants are the heart and soul of hundreds of thousands of communities across the United States and the globe. Welcome to Devour. We can't wait to build a vibrant community that benefits restaurant workers, creates fun, unique experiences that bring you closer to the brands and the restaurants you love. So again, a lot of this is just concept at this point in time. And so my understanding is it's all going to be about creating fun and unique experiences for restaurant goers. And if you've bought into a token or you've bought into some kind of concept like that, then you're more likely to go back over and over and over again, or at least this is what their concept is all about. So I started thinking, I was trying to grow my mind and think, well, what application could this have in it? And I started to think about McDonald's in particular. So, you know, when McDonald's has their, I haven't been to McDonald's in years, so they might still do it, but they used to have their Monopoly board game thing where you went there and you collected the little sticker tabby things that you're trying to get, whatever, that they gamified the experience. And so what you're going to see with this token Devour is they're going to be working with real life restaurants in order to help them gamify their experience to create more and more and more interaction. So I thought, well, that was an interesting concept. And that he was on with a gal that was, this was her business, Dinner DAO. And I don't know if I really understood what was a DAO, a DAO. Candace, do you have an explanation for what a DAO is?
It's just a part of sorry, I'm just decentralized finance. I can't remember what the exact letter stands for.
So it literally stands for decentralized autonomous organization. So yeah, pretty wide range of what that could be, but.
Yeah, wow. So I pulled this little thing up where it's a convergence of four themes, which enables DAOs. So it's peer-to-peer, it's crypto trusted and consensus. It's unbundling and deregulating. It's really kind of a cool concept. So what the whole idea behind the Dinner DAO is a new community, and IRL is in real life. Dinner club using non-fungible tokens. So what that looks like is you buy this token and you become part of the dinner club, and they literally make all kinds of decisions as far as where they're going to eat. If the restaurants are part of these dinner clubs, then the restaurant will allow them to choose menu items and test menu items. Like the whole concept is really cool. So I just thought, I'd never heard of this before. Like I've heard of dinner clubs, but I've never heard of it gone into the metaverse quite like this. And so those were the first two guys that spoke. And then there was, I forgot one. There was maybe not. Anyways, the next person was a woman. And she's got a game. I did forget this one, Candace, and maybe I'll lob it over to you so you could add it to your list to kind of watch. It's called One Rare. I'm going to stop sharing for a second so I can talk about it. So one rare was, it's like a game. It's a metaverse game, and it's interactive with local restaurants. So think about it like this. And the more rare the recipe and the more rare the item, the more it'll be worth, similar to how all of these NFTs work. So for instance, the gaming part of it is, say you're looking for French fries. And French fries, you need to collect the potato, you need to collect the oil, and you need to collect the salt. And if you can collect all three, then you win like something for the French fry. So then say, for instance, the French fry any restaurant that's participating in the local area, you could take your little gamified thing that you've found all the little bits to make the French fries, and you could get a percentage off your French fry purchase. Now, if it's a rare French fry like a poutine, where you got to go then and find the curds, and you got to go and find the special sauce or whatever, then you could take that to a specific restaurant to get your full poutine for free as part of the gaming fun of the whole thing. So I thought it was really cool how they're really trying to gamify and engage the consumer in not just playing their games, but also taking it out to the world and trying to get it into real life format. So what do you think of that concept? Do you think that one has legs?
I think it could have legs. The problem is, though, you really have to get a widespread scale adoption before it would really make any waves. But it could be fun.
So think about we're going to circle back to this one rare near the end. I want to talk about a couple more. The one and why I want to circle back to this is because I went to the next one that we talked to was, a concept that Gary Vaynerchuk started, the Fly Fish Club. Have you guys seen this? Have you heard about what he's doing with this?
No.
Okay, so it's actually, here it is on OpenSea, the Fly Fish Club, and they have NFT items right here, so you can buy them. Take a look at what this costs to get in here. 5.00 ETH. Do the math on that. You want to get one of these NFTs and they all look the same. There's nothing that distinguishes them except the number that they are. So take the idea of going and having a country club membership. This is sort of like that same concept. You buy an NFT and only the NFT holders can make reservations at this high-end, really gorgeous, exclusive restaurant in New York City. And the interesting thing is, like, if I was the NFT holder and I had this fishing club membership, I'm going to show it to you here. It's on OpenSea. Here it is, the Fly Fish Club. If I had one of these tokens, then I can book a reservation in that restaurant, and I can bring you all with me. It doesn't mean I can go alone. I can bring as many guests as I want, but I have to be there. Now, interestingly enough, with your token, there's also other exclusive perks for being part of and having this NFT. For instance, they're having an event in Miami next month, and only NFT holders are invited to go. They've rented a yacht, and there'll be food, and Gary Vaynerchuk will be there as part of the event. And now the events cost money, the food costs money. Just because you have the NFT doesn't mean you don't have to pay for your food and drink and all that sort of stuff at the event. You still have to pay for all those things, but you get access where nobody else can get access. Now, here's the interesting thing with this particular NFT. You can lease this out. So I can say to Ryan, hey, Ryan, do you want to Ryan's going to go to New York City and he wants to go to this exclusive restaurant. Maybe he's got some big clients he wants to take out and impress, and they've got top end chefs and all that sort of stuff. And interestingly enough, Ryan could rent my NFT from me for a month, and I would set the rate of what you're going to use it for. I lease it out to you, but you're only allowed to lease it out 1 month at a time. So it's got a residual income factor to it that you can add into the whole equation. Like, so say Ryan really wants to go on that yacht trip. So he has to have my NFT between this time and this time to be able to go on that yacht excursion with Gary Vaynerchuk. So it's a very interesting concept. And what they said was that they actually have sold so many of these things. There's only a certain number of them, but they've sold them all. And now they're worth, like, as I said, look at the price of these things, 5.089. And yesterday when I looked at this, the price of it was about 4 ETH. It's already gone up to 5 ETH. And so the really interesting thing is that they have now, because of this process, they have raised enough money that they don't ever have to go and get funding to build their restaurant concept out. It's all completely taken care of because of this. So they've gotten rid of the need to do, angel investing or anything else like that. Plus, on these NFTs, they've built in that if they were ever sold, so say I had one and I was going to sell it to Candace, 10% goes back to them originally. So every time these things get sold, they get 10% of the take.
Called a royalty NFT.
That's it. So it's the first of its kind, and it focuses around utility. So their members can use and enjoy the club, converting a typical membership into an asset. There's no applications or reoccurring fees each year. Member can lease or resell their memberships, and payment for food and beverages will be in USD. So you get to go and have really fun, exclusive experiences. The chef was somebody that has done really well in their career, and then they'll also have special drops for other things that are coming up. So it sounds really intriguing, and I can see this going in a big way with a bunch of other memberships. So what do you think of that concept?
I think that's very cool that restaurants are doing, anything really could do that now. If you're building out a membership base, artists could do it. But yeah, I think that's really, really cool. That's more along the lines of what I want to see NFTs become, as opposed to just pictures, to be honest. But yeah, I like it. I think it's cool.
I think, there's a lot of utility in NFTs. I'd be interested to see now, if you rented it out to me, if I could use it for a night and then rent it to Ryan so that he could use it for a night. Because if you could do layered renting like that, I could rent it from you for $1,000 for a month. Then I would rent it to Ryan for $1,100 for 29 days.
I don't know if they would layer it out like that.
It's hard to say. If they've got so many mechanisms that they may not let you, they may sort of think there's people who are crafty that might try to take advantage of it. But I certainly would take advantage of it if I could.
Okay, so I'm going to share with you something else. Okay, here is, so the Bored Ape Yacht Club NFT thing that everybody's done. Well, this group of clever people decided to do a play on this, and it's a bored breakfast club. Now, you're thinking to yourself, a bored breakfast club, what the heck is this all about? Well, there they are on OpenSea. They've got the Bored Breakfast Club. They've got NFTs. They're all unique. They're all different. They've got collectability. Obviously, they're not as expensive as Gary Vaynerchuk's thing, like at 0.0011 ETH, but you can collect these and so on and so forth. The interesting thing about these ones, what I find fascinating, is this company that's doing this, it's not necessarily about these collectibles, but it's more about this, that if you are an NFT holder and you've got one of those Bored Breakfast Club NFTs, then when they've got a new blend and brew of this exclusive, really cool, organic, high-end coffee, if you've got this in your wallet, you get a drop, and you get to take advantage of this coffee, and it gets shipped out to you because you've got it. So it's like a really cool coffee membership. They can see it in a lot of bigger ways. They can see this expanding to other beverages, other food concepts, that if you have one of those NFTs, then you become part of their exclusive, see, every week we do the impossible, deliver a new unique blend that always hits the bullseye. Our beans are easy to brew and hard to resist. Whether you're a coffee nerd or novice, this coffee is made for your kitchen. So the drop was yesterday, and they will be shipping it on the 4th. And again, you have to have your, in order to do it, you have to have this board breakfast club. You have to have the NFT, and then you get the coffee. See how cool it is? And each of the coffee bags comes with a different logo and label. So that's another way that they're using NFTs to really get that engagement with the engagement with the end customer. So what did you? Hi, Ken. How are you?
Hola.
Yeah, see, that one's almost like like those wine of the month type things in a way.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't necessarily think the coffee company is going to last any more than 5 minutes, but that marketing strategy itself is going to be obviously key because, well, some of my favorite YouTubers, they just started up their own little coffee thing, Bankroll Coffee, whatever the heck, right? And they're always talking about how they're having a hard time on their podcast. They're having a hard time promoting it. This just seems like, one, the whole coffee thing's blowing up everywhere right now, but a very unique marketing tactic for sure.
If they get a kickback from the NFTs and those NFTs become popular, then I think the bank company will be perfectly, or the bank company, the coffee company will be perfectly fine.
What are the chances of the coffee company maintaining itself? Though realistically, I'm just thinking this is where big brands are going to dominate and like annihilate, because I'm never going to buy an NFT for an unknown brand. For me, I might if I don't know.
Well, they're saying his thing, I wrote it down, was the token offers holders unique coffee. So they're trying to develop this omni-channel approach. So you can have your digital wallet, you can have your digital experience, but then you're going to get a real life product. What I suspect, Ryan, will happen here is not necessarily that that this will stay like big companies currently are not innovating. They're just not. They're just rolling through, but they don't know how to take advantage of this engagement quite the same way that these smaller companies. I would imagine what will happen is that this guy that invented this concept will get picked up by a big brewer, a big roaster.
Why would he though? Because the concept you can replicate overnight.
They don't know how to do it, honestly, Ryan.
But I don't know. I don't think that. I think this company is just going to be a fly by night, to be honest. I like the concept, but because this is the thing. There's obviously the 4 package rollout that, if I'm just assuming based on the web thing that we just saw, like that NFT value is good. If we're just talking about the individual company, that NFT value drops when people realize it is the same generic coffee that everyone's starting their own coffee business around. It's where all these beans are coming from. They're fair trade organic beans. It's fantastic. But what happens when people hate the coffee because it's very average coffee, and then now their NFT is just, I got to get rid of this friggin' NFT. Then their NFTs aren't cycling as much. You've got maybe some diehards. And then, unfortunately, what would have been a very normal customer base is almost now entirely driven by that NFT space. And then the negative publicity that comes along with their NFT, essentially their brand collapsing. I see it as a very genius way to start up, but if they can make it, I don't know.
But then you could flip any product in there. It could be chocolate bars. It could be peanut butter sandwiches.
Yeah, because I think the coffee itself is more of a novelty for the NFT. It's sort of like, the best analogy I can think of is when you were a kid and you dug into your cereal to get the prize. If the prize sucked, you didn't throw out the cereal.
Right.
So you still got the NFT. I think the NFT is the product. The coffee is more of just a novelty.
Yeah. And what he would go ahead.
I was going to say, you can't get the product without the NFT. If you have no interest in the product itself, why would you hold the NFT? And then you got the floor price that'll drop immediately. Like, this to me just seems like the perfect way to start. And if they can figure out how to keep going, good. But these are so fly by night, the coffee companies and this little stuff. It's like they're all over the place. But I think it's genius to market and get people on board. If this little tiny coffee company that a month ago was an absolute nothing burger besides a domain name, they can mint a few NFTs and turn themselves into a multi-million-dollar company, sweet. But that just spells out like rug pull right there. I mean, to me, not rug pull, but I mean, the floor price is drastically dropping and then it kills the brand. And that's the only thing. I don't know enough about NFTs and their cycles yet. So that's just my gut.
Yeah. Well, we had this guy, the next guy that came on was this guy, his name was Barry, and he's from the Elliott Group. And they're a talent agency. They go and they recruit and look for talent for the restaurant and hospitality industry, plus all kinds of other businesses. And he said where a new emerging position coming onto the market is something called a Chief Virtual Development Officer. So a guy like this that's created this concept could be somebody that could take a position called the Chief Virtual Development Officer and go work for a big corporation to showcase how the heck you get community engagement and community to rally around your concept, your items, whatever. So I just thought that was sort of interesting. And then they got this other guy that came on, and he was the founder of something called Carbon Origins. I found their website, and so let me share with you what it looks like. So this is Skippy. Skippy is a food delivery service, okay, doing real work guided by people who love their work. So how you might think, is this little thing possibly going to get your food from McDonald's, from State and Maine, wherever the heck you've ordered your food from, all the way over to your house? Well, let's see. Here's a little sample of it. This is what it looks like. Can you guys all see that? Mm-hmm. So Skippy will pick up and deliver right to your doorstep, and you can track Skippy and the status of your order every step of the way. Skippy is currently serving customers in select neighborhoods of the Twin Cities. Okay, so this is kind of cool, but again, you're thinking to yourself, how the heck, who's operating this thing, right? Oh, well, let's see. See, it's got compartments, a cold compartment, warm compartment. So it's going to go through your neighborhood, da-da-da-da-da. I'm wondering if it's going to show us in a second. I can't remember whether I have to show you a different thing. So it's kind of a cool little guy. Okay, ready? So you're going to see it around town. This is how it actually works. So skipsters, they're looking for skipsters. Skipsters will operate Skippy using VR headsets, and it'll supervise and coach Skippy. It makes the food delivery safer, more accessible, more affordable. So you just imagine people in their homes with their, goggles on and the remote control. They're going to see every single thing that Skippy sees because there's cameras around it, and they're going to be guiding it along the way. So let me see. I thought maybe there was another video of what this thing looked like. But can you imagine it going by a bus stop? And then, because I think there's even a voice activation on this thing where the person that's doing it could say hi to the people sitting in the bus stop as the Skippy thing is going along to your house. So I just thought, again, it's innovation, it's gamified, community-oriented, virtual environments. I just thought, what an amazing, cool concept. So what do we think about this?
I think if Skippy goes through the wrong neighborhood, Skippy's going to get robbed.
Where's the gun on it? It needs guns, because I know homeless people will take that in a heartbeat once they know what it is.
No, dude, they won't. So the same thing, reason why they can't really, like every city's getting them. Calgary's had them for a while, but those motorized scooters that just pollute downtown, they're all over the place. You tap your phone, you buy your minutes, right? So they're GPS tracked and stuff. So you'll get arrested immediately if you were to do that to a scooter in Calgary, right? Problem is, though, we've got a beautiful river here, so the homeless just throw the scooters in the river, and they're like $4,000 a scooter. So if you don't have a river around you, you might be safe, or snow. I'm kind of surprised that this idea isn't focused around a drone as opposed to something with wheels.
Safer. That would be a lot safer.
And maybe there's challenges with that aviation and how many there would be out there going back and forth and back and forth.
Yeah, but see, if homeless people in the area know that those things are being implemented, they're going to start carrying a hammer so they can just hit it and have the food in like 2 seconds and off they go. Really, if you look at the reality of humans, that's what would happen.
Yeah.
Well, what happens if you have a stupid kid who tips it over? It's one of those
There
things.
you go. There's that too, right?
But they've got the skipsters that would be responsible for it and would know where it is because it's following it along and can go and rescue it. So, because it will be, the skipster will have their headset on anyways, I just thought it was a cool concept, and I'm always about bringing new and cool things to you guys just to have a look at. The last two that were on this thing was the Burger DAO. So let me see if I can show you the Burger DAO. So this concept was started from a YouTuber that built a big, huge following and was putting down all of his different burger recipes and his outlandish recipes and his burger ideas and all the rest of it. And so they made it into this DAO where people can join the community and you can post what kind of things you want to see on the burgers. And then they will be produced and manufactured in what we're calling ghost kitchens or cloud kitchens. And they're available. The burgers that everybody votes on will be available for delivery. So right now, I know in Canada, we have a lot of ghost kitchens, and you might not even realize that they exist. And there are even some franchises that, like, I know 2 concepts in Ontario where you see their kitchens as you drive by them. They're restaurants, I should say, not kitchens. You see their restaurants when you drive by them and you think they're one concept, but what they've been doing is they've been picking up these other concepts that don't have kitchens, and they've been making separate lines, and they're producing those foods, and the items are getting sent out of their restaurant. So you think it should be one concept, but it's really multiple concepts going out of that kitchen. Is that confusing, or do you understand what I'm saying without giving you an example?
Totally understand. Ghost kitchens, kind of, I'm of 2 minds with them, because there's a part of me that does not go to certain restaurants for a reason, and I just will not go back there. But a ghost kitchen, kind of deceptive, at least a little bit here. You've got 1 million ghost kitchens if you go on Skip the Dish, and it's like 4 restaurants.
Yep.
But there's about 1,000 different orders that they have the same cake, different kitchen names. I find it, I'm of 2 minds with it. It's definitely convenient, but like Mr. Beast. He did the Mr. Beast burger.
That's this guy.
Yeah,
That's
well, he's
him.
like the biggest YouTuber ever. Yeah, Mr. Beast burger, and he's got now, I don't know, 14,000 locations worldwide or some crazy BS.
That's how he's doing it.
Interesting thing about Mr. Beast burger, he actually tweeted to Elon the other day when Elon said he would promote the Happy Meal if McDonald's went and paid. If McDonald's did that thing, took Doge, sorry. But Mr. Beast basically came back and said, if you will retweet this, Elon, I will accept Doge. Elon never did, but I thought that was just funny.
Well, what I thought was interesting with this burger concept was what they're thinking with expanding this DAO is things like the launch of what they're calling TikTok kitchens. So they're looking to go, what is the largest TikTok, most followed, most viewed, popular recipes, and making those into what they're calling the TikTok kitchen the TikTok kitchens don't really exist, but like the same thing with this cloud kitchen or ghost kitchen or whatever, they can have access to it, and it will be run through these DAOs and things. So it's the concept is they're starting to get a bigger, more global picture of some of these things. So I just thought virtual popular recipes available through cloud kitchens. I just thought it was really neat that they're thinking outside the box and trying to engage the community a little bit more than just thinking and putting out recipes over and over, which again goes back to we do in our culinary center. We have chefs at all of our distribution centers across Canada, and we bring concepts in, and they do what they call concept development, new recipe development, or at least we used to do that stuff pre-pandemic. And we would sit and we'd work with that restaurant concept of coming up with new items for their menu. But then what would usually happen is they would have random focus groups that were out in the marketplace. We were constantly having people through our building testing out we had a burger concept. I can't remember the name of it, but they had 10 new burgers they were trying out to figure out which burger they were going to put on their menu. And so we had all these random people coming in, and they got to sit in our culinary center and eat all these burger options and write down what they thought of them, so whether they would go on the menu. So why are we paying random people to do this when you could have people who have bought in and are part of your Burger DAO program who have a vested interest in your concept to then be able to, eat that stuff and see if they like it. And if they like it and that they're part of the decision-making process, chances are they'll order it in their community over and over and over again. And we won't talk about some of the burgers because it'll make Ryan's tummy upset. So
no, you want to know what a good burger is? And I've only had one once in my life. Okay. Deep fried pickles are obviously, I don't even need to tell you how good those are. They're good, okay? But they're like the spears. You can't really put that on a pickle. But get the slices of pickle, and some places there's a place in Calgary, deep fries the thin slices, puts that in between two slices of cheese on a burger. Bro, move on. Anyway, it's like the best thing I've ever seen in my life. Deep fried pickles. There we go. It's my 2 cents.
Well, so what do you guys think? Do you think that these Burger DAO has an option to really take off, especially backed by what did you say his name was? Because I'm going to write it down again.
Mr. Beast.
Mr. Beast.
Yeah, he's that guy that gives away all kinds of stuff on YouTube. Like, he'll go to a homeless person and give him $10,000. So it's like feel good viewing.
Oh,
pretty much everyone wins $100,000 every video. So some random person is going to win like $100,000 or a Lambo or $1 million bucks.
He also had that epic video where he recreated the Squid Game, and it was absolutely awesome.
He's being sued hardcore for that.
Hmm.
So watch it while you can, in other words, but it was awesome.
That's amazing. The last one, which I'm not even completely sure I understood it, is this one. Shefty, which is it's a play on words, chef and NFT, and it's all about the pizza collection. So they've got the NFTs there, but again, there's a roadmap with it that has to do with the community and integrating top tier chefs and doing this as part of engaging with pizza joints in local areas and things like that. But I just thought it's worth showing that, I didn't completely understand what they were talking about in their concept, but I just wanted to say that even pizza is being folded in to the metaverse.
I think, yeah. Very cool. What do you think, Ken?
Yeah, Ken.
Ken likes pizza.
I like pizza.
Maybe that's his way to get a slice into the metaverse.
Maybe. I don't know.
Well, Candace is setting up her metaverse stuff. Maybe from the crew in the chat, did everybody like learning a little bit about how they're trying to marry old world and new world? Oh, there was one more thing I did learn. So this whole concept, one of the conversations that were going around was, remember we talked about Decentraland and who the hell would buy land in Decentraland and things like that. So one of the things that they talked about was that anybody that owns some land in Decentraland, especially close to the entrance where you first come in, where there's a ton of visibility, that in the future, what they're thinking is that they're going to be able to lease that land out for parties and stuff like that. And so they were talking about how they felt like they were going to be able to put food and mix food in with these parties that are going to be in the metaverse. So it's starting to come together. I'm starting to get a bit of a picture on how this is all going to play out, because I kept thinking, well, what would you do with just all this land? But then now hearing that concept yesterday that you could lease it out to bigger companies that want, like Red Bull, for instance, they were talking about Red Bull already does all these parties, exclusive parties all over the map. So would Red Bull have an event in Decentraland that was just for those folks, and everybody that was participating in it would get a drop to their house of Red Bull and pizza and whichever of these companies were going to be participating? I just thought it was kind of interesting how it was all starting to come together.
Mm-hmm.
That would be interesting. A Red Bull party and they drop stuff off.
No, there's lots of ways you can monetize land in the metaverse, whether it be anything from leasing it to even putting ads up on it. So there's just a lot you can do with it.
Well, and remember that first gal I was talking about that did that one rare? Remember I said we would circle back to it? That one rare, I think her name was. So you know how there are some restaurants or some concepts that have their exclusive recipes, and they have chefs. Like Tim and I've watched so many of those Top Chef, and we've seen some amazing culinary things on Netflix and Amazon Prime and all that sort of stuff. So those top guys, say you really wanted to participate and have a culinary experience with one of those guys, then this is that whole gamification of trying to find all the little items in the game, and then you build all the things to get that rare recipe that was made by one of those top chefs. And if you actually get it, then that means you can go dine at their restaurant and experience, have one of their culinary experiences. I thought, wow, that makes a lot of sense. That goes back to that whole Gary V Fly Fish Club concept, where this is that one rare is a game. They've gamified it, but there's actually something delicious at the end of it all.
Cool.
There we go. All right. Here's the top 10 metaverse cryptocurrency by Candace.
All right. We are back once again to our top 10. New in at number 10 is Rainicorn. We've seen them before. So this is the coin that has the unicorns and the rainbows. So it's pretty cool. There's actually been some interesting shakeups in the top 10 this week. So we'll quickly move along. So Victoria VR, which was a very realistic one, that was at number 3 last week. It fell all the way back to number 9. We move up to number 8. It is the first of our many new ones. And take a look at the yield, 34.2% increase over last week. So Yield Games, so Yield Guild Games, they don't actually have their own game. They actually bring players together to play games like Axie Infinity and the Sandbox. They invest in their NFTs. They flip them, and that's how they make the money. And it's shared amongst the pool of players within Yield Guild Games. So they're kind of different. We also, coming up, we have one that's insanely different. I can't wait to get to that one. Number 7. Number 7 is the Sandbox that we were just talking about. They were number 8 last week, so they're slowly coming back up. Big 25.5% increase this week. You'll see a lot of increases this week compared to last week. Last week was just a little bit crazy. All right, number 6, UFO Gaming. They're at number 10 last week. They have moved up, so they are picking up some momentum. Crazy 36.5% return on investment, but that's not even half of what one coin did this week. So just a little bit of a spoiler. Number 5, Engine has fallen down a little bit, and they were still up 14%, but it hasn't been a great week compared to others for Engine. Coming in at number 4, Decentraland. They were there last week. They're sort of holding steady, up 22.3%. Still a good investment in Mana. Number 3 was our last week's number 1, Magic. They were up another 24.4%. Now, keep in mind with Magic, they have been number 1 for the last 6 weeks. So they are just insanely doing really, really well. So that's something to keep in mind when you're researching coins you may want to get involved in. All right, the top 2 coins are brand new coins. Number 2, Starlink, not the satellite. Had to say that because when I was trying to research Starlink, everything I brought up was about Elon. And then it was like, will Starlink affect gaming? Will Starlink be too slow for gaming? But anyway, Starlink was up 56.5% last week. They've got a metaverse that is set in space. They got NFT assets of everything from satellite, spacecraft, real estate, and your character mods. And of course, you also can gain your tokens while you're in there playing the game. One of the things that's interesting about Starlink is they have something called fair tokenomics, which basically means that there's no tokens that were reserved for the devs. There's no tax tokens. There's no pre-sale tokens. And they have a very solid burn rate. In matter of fact, I think that they have a total of 21 trillion tokens. And they were all released at once. So there's no mining. There's no more tokens being created. And they're being burned regularly. So there's a potential here for this to go up. But there was a number 1. And this number 1 to me was just fantastic. It's Render Token, up 70.9%. Render Token is really cool. They're the leading provider of decentralized GPU, which is graphics processing unit-based rendering solutions. So they have a thing called Octane Render, and it does rendering that you can basically rent. So for example, if you wanted to do some rendering, you would pay for rendering through the Octane Render. You would pay in the Render RNDR token. Then anybody else who's signed up with Render, they also can rent out their GPU. So if their GPU has cycles, they can rent those out and they would be paid in Render. So it's a whole exchange of this coin to basically allow GPUs that are not being used to be used by people who don't have enough GPUs. So it's this really, really interesting way to sort of share the load across the network. And at the same time, they're making a fortune with this RNDR. So this is just amazing. So once again, 70.9%. Holy banana bread.
So GPU stands for
graphic processing unit. So that's like it's like your CPU. It's like your central processing unit, but on the graphics part. And
they're taking a play from Theta.
Yeah. And if you think about you love that Theta. If you think about
but this is my question. Hold on, Candace, while we're still on Render, because I don't really like Theta that much. And Render is a total play on Theta. Theta didn't really get the pump it deserved, I think. Does this to me seems like a pump and a dump to follow. Do you actually believe in Render on like a long term?
They're brand new to it. Now, the one of the thing is that they do have a half decent market cap. Because one of the things with this list is there's a lot of these pump and dump type coins that are like under 200,000 or sorry, under 200 million. And I try to avoid all of those, or if they have no market cap at all, like I don't let them into the list for that reason. So these guys have been around. There seems to be, from what I've researched, they seem to be pretty stable. So I don't think we're looking at the same situation with Theta.
But okay, so then what failed with Theta that Render is doing better?
It might be just the way that they're doing their network. I honestly don't know. I don't have an exact answer for you. But if they're still in the list next week, I will see if I can find out for you.
Cool.
So so you think that Theta was a fail, Ryan? Do you think Theta's a fail, Ken?
No.
It just hasn't performed what people thought it would yet. That's my only thing. I'm not saying I like Theta a lot, actually. Honestly.
I mean, the only thing I can think of is with Theta, where you've also got the T-Fuel, where you've got a couple of coins involved. Maybe it was just too complicated, where this is just a straight one coin. That might be it. I don't know, though. I'll have to do research on it. That's a hypothesis more than anything else.
Right. Well, they got a render token has to be careful what they do because Theta has patents. So they have to be careful how they're implementing their technology.
Yeah, no, absolutely. All right. Well, anyway, that was
that was good. That was good.
Now,
and Candace, Verena had a question. Do you invest in any of your top 10 tokens?
Yes.
Oh, never mind. Jill answered. Okay. Oh, you do? Jill said no. Okay, never mind. Keep going.
Well, considering the DCA challenge, my token in that is Engine.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
Well, you do.
Yep.
Nice.
All right. Let's move on to the stocks. The stocks were very interesting this week as well. There's been some movement and some changes in the stocks as well. And it's also nice to see them all starting to move back up. All right. And the first one, there we are. So number 7 this week is Disney. They have moved back up, but we've seen them before. They were up 6.54% over the week. So not bad. Coming in at 6, we have another new one that hasn't been on the top 7 yet. That's AMD, so our advanced micro devices. They were up 10.51%. One of the things that's interesting, their EPYC chips, they're going to be used by Facebook, so by Meta, for running their data centers within the metaverse. So that's kind of huge. AMD is also working on bringing out a whole bunch of new and interesting chips to run supercomputers, which of course are also going to be pretty important in the metaverse. And AMD holds about 10% of the overall chip market, which that sounds like a small number, but when you realize the number of players in the chip market, that's actually quite significant.
Their CEO just came out too for AMD with just intense and incredible guidance for what they're seeing in 2022 and 2023. But just a little added to that. Anyway, sorry, Guinness.
No, I was going to say absolutely. Microsoft staying at the same spot, number 5, up 4.89% this week. That takes us up to EA, who also didn't move, up 3.89%. So there was a little bit of a congestion in the middle. Now, Taiwan Semiconductor MFG, they just didn't have a really great week. They're down 0.24%, falling out of their first position. And Qualcomm, they had a pretty darn good week. They were up 10.54%. Once again, I think this is a strong company, but they just couldn't hold on. They can't move back into number 1. We have a brand new number 1, a company that we haven't yet seen in the top 7, a company that made a massive move this week. And that company is Google. So Google is interesting. They were actually one of the first to launch augmented reality glasses. They were Google Glass. Now, when these first came out, people were concerned because they had a camera on them. So people were like, oh, well, people wearing glasses can be filming me. So there was a lot of a kickback to it, but that's really not around anymore. And they're looking at coming up with some pretty interesting new versions of the Google Glass. They've also got a Google Labs group overseeing their augmented reality. Searching as well. They've already come out and they said this. They want searching to still be a main component of Google, including being able to search using just regular conversations. And of course, metaverse applications and searching are going to be a huge priority. If you think about how big the metaverse potentially could be, you're going to need somebody to be able to help you find things within the metaverse. Now, the big news today, or actually it broke yesterday, Google announced a 20-to-1 stock split to make their shares more accessible. They're also saying that they're going to start making their own games. So both of these are huge. This is what propelled Google. They're up 15.29% this week. Just an amazing job. I mean, they leapfrogged all the way up to number 1. So bravo, Google.
Wow.
Sorry, I was going to say, in my opinion, Google Glass has to be one of the coolest things that they haven't quite worked out yet. But when they do, that's going to be that's going to be real life people who are not playing video games in the metaverse with an Oculus. There's going to be very real people wearing these glasses. I have glasses right now that I think are so cool because I don't know, there's this thing, I can listen to my music in my sunglasses, if that makes any sense. I thought that was freaking badass when I'm walking the dog. This is going to be out of control.
Yeah.
Google Glass is crazy.
Yeah, you're talking about AR and the way these glasses, you'd be able to walk down the street. And if you ever seen like ever see the Terminator where you got the computer where he's looking through and you can see little names going down, who this is, who that is. That's the type of thing you're going to be able to see with this. So, you know, you'll never walk up to somebody who you forget their name and say, you know, it'll tell you that's John Smith. Bang, you'll know who it is. Might even tell you how their wife, their kids. So you've automatically got a conversation right there.
Well, I don't know about the privacy issues on name disclosures, but it is pretty much like that. I know that there was a demo when they first came out with Google Glass where your text messages would come up or whatever in your eyeglasses or whatever it was. Mm-hmm. And if you looked left, for instance, just twitched your eyes left, it would swipe the screen. So it was the weirdest thing. Yeah. I know for a fact I'm going to be buying a pair of Google glasses or whatever they are, but
absolutely.
It'll be cool.
That's awesome. Well, that was a pretty exciting update for this week's crypto. I know it was heavily NFT focused, but I just thought, hey, you know what? Want to switch it up and talk about, I don't know, crypto.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Ken, how are you doing? What's going on with Satama and the SATA mask?
It looks like they just pushed out their last update. I got it today. So it should be good. They're slowly adding liquidity to the pool. They've listed all the tokens that they're launching with. So, you know, with any technology, it just takes time. It's, you know, it's hard to predict a date when you're dealing with technology. It really is. Look at Microsoft. Look at Apple, right? All companies have had setbacks because they can't meet dates. A lot of fudding out there, but for anybody that's holding it, just keep holding it.
Perfect. That's awesome. Anybody, we're sort of at the 1 hour mark, and we've talked about crypto and for a solid hour. But I was wondering, does anybody feel like talking about anything else? And if you do, then we'll talk about it. But we're just going to tell everybody that we're not going to be talking about crypto unless you want to talk about crypto.
I have nothing that I'm doing with crypto lately. Like, this is the thing. I know we run a weekly show here. This is kind of why I'm stopping Sundays, because there's only so much to talk about on a daily basis and weekly basis. One thing I've noticed, so Bitcoin is staying pretty steady, actually. I mean, it is in that channel. It's fine, but it's doing virtually nothing, right? We are seeing, though, that for instance, the second, and I mean the second, if anyone's ever questioning the coupling of Bitcoin and the stock market, please just watch the markets. The second we got those earnings today that collapsed social media instantly, it was wild. What happened to Bitcoin? Boom, right off a cliff. Now we're gone from the 37.5, now at 36.5. So I don't know what's going on with Bitcoin. I'm not doing too much investments into any more on the crypto side. I'm waiting, I think, till March, and then I'll know in March when I do have a subset of cash I'm ready to deploy. 75% is going to blue chip just to buy up big companies at a discount. And then 25%, I don't think I'm getting into new crypto. I'm only just going to be really reinforcing my crypto position now. And that's it. I can't see myself. I'm in the sit and see mode. I'm in a sit, wait and see mode for crypto. That's pretty much where I'm at.
Well, there's been some interesting news, like India just recently came out and they're going to start to charge 30% tax on Bitcoin, which is good news in the fact that if they're going to tax it properly, they're starting to figure out how to regulate it, which, you know, it's not good news at 30% tax, but it's not,
that's comparable to capital gains.
Yeah. And Russia is now taking a same thing. Russia's taking a new look at, you know, crypto.
Yeah, it's good. There's quite a bit of country. Russia came around. I also read an article that Russia holds, I don't know if it was all crypto. I don't even know how they would measure it. It was something like 12% of Bitcoin or 12% of crypto, but they're obviously a major holder. They'd be foolish not to take advantage, so this whole Russia-Ukraine thing, okay? People think Russia's not prepared or they're so stupid they're going to block out crypto. Putin might be a madman, whatever, but he's definitely not dumb. Like, for instance, his cash reserves in the last 6 months, they don't talk about this too. You kind of have to dig for this, but his cash reserves have almost tripled, meaning he's preparing for sanctions. right? Because he's got the money now to deal with it. So it's one of those things. I don't think Putin's backing down. I have no clue what's going to happen with the United States. But Putin, that was almost like a FUD article about him blocking crypto, because it was within 2 days that they're like, we're not blocking crypto. I don't understand where that came from. But that was a weird FUD.
Well, they own 12.5% of all the Bitcoin. So I can't imagine I can't imagine that they're going to be blocking any of that. And you're right. He's not dumb. He's not dumb.
He's not, like, he's been preparing for, like, when everyone thinks he's playing checkers, he's playing chess, and he's pretty damn good at playing chess. Whether you guys like him or don't like him, it's not the combo, but he's definitely prepared for something. So it'll be unique to see what happens. But crypto's obviously going to have a hard time finding its push right now. Just every time I see a Bored Ape selling for $2 million, it angers me, because all its money, it's obviously not into real, what I call real crypto. So, but then again, who am I to say what's real and what's not real? You've got people changing their lives with Bored Apes. So who the heck am I to say otherwise, right? I'm just confused. It's where I'm at right now.
Yeah. So Genuine, what do you want to talk about?
He's just busting he's busting us up right now.
I know, that's why I'm saying, but what do you want to talk about? Well, we're including you in the conversation.
While we're waiting for Genuine, I will say I'm actually still bullish on Bitcoin. And
are you?
I am. I'm charting a year-long channel that Bitcoin has been in. I actually released this to the people who are on my email list. Tim Danter's on it, so if you want to see it, he'll show it to you. But as long as this channel isn't invalidated, I'm going to remain bullish, because, we could be, if this channel completely holds true to what it's done in the past, we could be seeing a 70,000 Bitcoin by late May.
Don't make the mistake that Plan B made.
What are you saying?
As long as it stays valid. I mean, you take
TA and crypto, no one should ever judge you, because you're just, anyone who does TA with anything, it's a 50-50. It really is a 50-50, because we're just going by patterns. So again, what Candace is saying, it could be invalidated tomorrow for all we know. But at least, so that channel, Candace, what's your channel range? I'm curious myself. I'm just curious.
Well, the bottom of the channel is where we hit last week. So right now it's at 32-ish.
Yeah.
So if it breaks down below 32 in this next little dip, because there is a chance of a small dip before it moves up, but it won't retest it at 32. It retest it probably closer to 33, because we've moved further up on the channel and it is a rising channel. The top part as well, that's been where we've had our all-time highs.
Oh, so this is a wide channel. Oh,
this
okay.
Is a very wide, big channel, but it has been valid since about December of 2020.
Meaning that we haven't gone below 32,900 since September of 2020. Basically.
But it also, you have to look at where all of the, and this is the thing. See, you should be in my newsletter, because then you would actually be able to look at this and see it.
I'm not a TA person. I don't subscribe to it, but that's why I like learning from you on it.
No, so it's interesting. It has been like clockwork, everything it's did. Like every move that we've seen Bitcoin make is pretty much identical to what's been happening in this channel. So that's what I'm saying. I would love to see it get invalidated. Then I can just say, okay, let's look for something new. But this one's just been dragging on. And we've only recently, with the last bottom, gave us enough points to sort of make it a little bit more of a valid channel to look at. So I just think it's really fantastic. So probably I'll release it outside of my newsletter after Monday, because if I do it now, it sort of cheapens the people who are on the newsletter with their exclusive content.
Cool.
But
that's
like I said, Tim has access to it, Nancy, if you want to see it.
Hi, Tim Danter.
What's up, Tim?
Hello, Nancy Danter. Hello, everyone.
What are you up to, man?
About 6'4", 6'5" with gel in the hair.
Nice.
Nice. Not much hair for gel.
Hair today, gone tomorrow.
Oh boy.
Some sooner than others.
Just got off the meeting, just the condo meeting where we have our condo in Toronto. Just That board is so divided, and they're just slinging crap all over the place
Yep.
at each
Just
other.
like the whole country.
As
Slinging
somebody
crap.
who's never owned a home before, would you tell me to avoid condos like a plague, or is it a valuable option for someone looking to get in?
Valuable
If I
option.
had to talk to a freaking board, literally, I think I'd shoot. Well, I don't even want to say that. I would eat a grenade immediately. Like, I'd be like, "Are you knocking on my door?" I'd be so ticked off. I don't know. Are condos really annoying like that?
Condo associations, they're the best.
Oh man, I'd be like, "Am I paying for this?" Like,
Well-
I wouldn't need a grenade. They're pretty explosive on the other end.
that's why I would eat it, just to end the conversation right there. Just, can we talk to you about the board meeting? No, it's over.
And then you'd have to piece it all back together.
Yeah. No, it's funny. There's been a couple of comments about Omi. Obviously, with Verena in the house, Omi is a hot topic because she loves the Omi. And Genuine is saying that Omi is down, so you can buy more. How much is it down? What's it down to? I haven't looked today.
Not a ton.
And then Gary has been talking a lot about fractional property purchasing. So PJ's been asking about it. Jill wants to know a bit more about it. So Gary, you're gonna have to give us an idea of what it is that
he was at the time. Gary was referencing fractional purchases in Toronto. But if anyone does actually Google fractional property purchasing, you'll find so many websites in Canada where you can fractionally buy into property, collect portions of the rent because they'll lease it out, yada, yada, yada. It's actually kind of cool.
Wow.
Isn't that called a timeshare?
Don't know. Isn't a timeshare some?
I don't know. I'm just asking.
Timeshare is for vacationing.
Yeah, I think it's a little different.
I think this fractional ownership is like you own a fraction of. Remember that real estate agent, Tim, we met across the way here, and he was talking about that's often how like a whole bunch of people like you and I would put money in like a fund, and they buy the buildings like Tim Hortons goes and leases.
Well, I was just going to say, it's funny enough, I was just going to say the one website I'm looking into for that right now, it's obviously not owned by Starbucks. The building is owned by the people. It's just being leased out by Starbucks right now. So for instance, one part of that is you invest in the building and you get all your rent payments or whatever you're due. It's kind of cool. I haven't made any videos about it, but it is kind of cool.
So Mel has a question for you.
Me?
Name is Mel.
Ryan.
Which one, on Friday or Sunday? Sunday was the show that was obviously, I'm not even going to get into the topic. Friday was, I don't know which live stream you saw, but I got like reported like crazy. And I didn't even say anything. It was the comments, sadly. But yeah, deleted right after for a reason.
You know what
and nothing happens, by the way, Mel, on YouTube. Nothing happens nothing happens. But anyway, sorry.
Do you want to know the hardest part in all of this is when you find a passion, whether you're one side or the other, or you're like Candace and you're dead center. When you find passion on something, you want to talk about it because it's like it's oozing and seeping out of you, and you want to find folks that have a shared commonality. And so it's really hard to find places where you can do that freely now, because it doesn't seem to matter what you say or where you say it or how you say it. It feels like you're being judged for it, and it feels like everything gets taken down or banned or whatever. And so it's really hard to formulate a proper opinion these days. And anyways, without getting too deep into it, I can understand why you've been hot under the collar, Ryan, because you feel passionate about things.
Well, the sad thing for the one where I did lose my mind, I only lost it because I didn't say anything. I was reported for what someone said in my comment section, which I have no control over. So it was one of those things. I was like, oh my gosh. But yeah, I'm not going to get into the nitty gritty of it. But the nice thing about having this many subscribers is that we can afford it every now and again to have a Sunday.
My gosh. But then again, like the whole other side of it is that deep down, what happens is that sometimes when you start to question what's going on, then it's hard not to question everything else up until then.
Mhm.
Because if you've seen something that you know is blatantly untrue, then it invalidates. This is why I always talk to my kids about you should never, ever, ever tell a lie. Be true to your word no matter what happens. Just hit the consequences straight up and take the lumps. If you've done something, own it and stand in it. Don't lie. Because what happens is if somebody catches you in some form of a lie, then it invalidates everything you've ever said to them before, because it puts doubt and questions in your mind as to what they're really actually saying. So the hard part in all of this is knowing full well that there's a different side, or there's other sides to what's going on. And then when the authority or the leader stands up and states clearly one direction and invalidates all the other opinions or the other occurrences, then, and it's not true, then it starts to put doubt that everything being said is not true. And then that's where it bubbles up and there's frustration, and that's where you get all this other side and passion coming from. So I know it's sort of cryptic, but it's all about censorship, and there's hard to talk about all of this without there being some form of censorship that happens.
That's the weird thing is, how if you can't define a word without using the word in it, then you really can't, then you don't know what the word means. True. Like, for instance, you can't use the definition of a word in defining it. So that's kind of a rule of not knowing what you're talking about on that. Censorship, it's hard to talk, and it's almost this catch-22, because I can't even talk about censorship because of the topics being censored, and then I'm you know what I mean? It's one of those things. It's just a devastating cycle. I'm not going to get into it anymore, but and also
I remember before social media, there was no censorship. You could say what you wanted to whoever you wanted, and you had your opinion, they had theirs, and that was it. Now with social media, you put your opinion out there and you offend somebody, you're going to get heckled, and that's not right.
You ever notice that the bathroom walls in the men's are a lot cleaner these days? There's no more opinions.
Yeah.
It's all on social media. Nobody's writing any good
You
stuff
gotta go
anymore.
to the bathrooms at Tim Hortons. That's where you get your opinions.
No more good comics on the side of the stall door. Classic.
Really? People stopped carrying around black Sharpies to write things on bathroom walls? Shocking.
At least I know why all those
Was it really a
calls
Sharpie?
stopped.
What, Candace?
So at least I now know why all those calls stopped.
Ooh, sorry.
Well, you know what? This has been really, really fun tonight, talking about food and crypto and all the rest of it. Let's have a quick go around and find out what everybody's up to. So, Ken, you got your 24-hour show coming on soon?
Yeah, no. Friday night, yes. Saturday, yes. Not 24 hours, not yet. I'm working on it, though. We'll see.
That'll be mental, dude. That will be mental. It'll be monumental. There you go.
There we go, yeah. The Monumental Mental Show.
So are you having anybody special on Friday, or is it just a free-for-all again?
Just a free-for-all, nobody special. Well,
We're
maybe
all
Tim.
special, you son of a gun.
I hear Tim lies in the bed.
If you don't want to know what I'm laughing about, tune into his show on Friday night.
Oh my God.
But
you
gotta tune in about 4 hours in.
No.
Yeah,
I go away for a
That's
weekend
what
and
really-
Tim's streaming from our bedroom. That's epic.
No more pillow talk.
Oh,
Come on.
God. Anyway, so that's on the freaking Oracle. And usually you post links in all of our groups, right, Ken?
I don't
The
think
last
he's
couple
missed
of times
one.
they haven't. And everybody showed up, so that means everybody that showed up is subscribed. So,
There you go.
Right. There you go. And Candace, you've got a bunch of videos coming out and you're doing shorts now. You're trying to overtake Nate Palmatier, I hear.
Oh, it's a friendly competition. He brought out the shorts, so I'm bringing out the shorts. His are clipped, mine are 100% original.
So
Like Egyptian cotton shorts.
Oh, there you go.
why don't you call them the skirts?
Well, because they're they're YouTube shorts. That's why I call them shorts.
Oh,
Not because otherwise, if
well, I meant that you're not skirting the issue. You're
no, I'm not skirting the issue. Just getting right in there. Today was a bit of a, what do you call it? It was a skit on what happens if you try to call up a pizza place and order a pizza with Bitcoin.
You saw that.
Yeah. So, so I'm going to be putting those out probably, I don't know, maybe 3-ish a week. They're just quick, short, in your face, bang, over type things. So those are kind of cool. In addition to that, of course, I got all my regular stuff. So video-wise, tomorrow, beginner TA video. Saturday night live stream. I've got Ken on there, and we're going to be talking about SataMask and crypto winter. And then back to Monday, we'll have another cool video as well coming up for you. So lots happening over on Mountain Finance.
Love it. And Ryan,
The huge.
But are you going to be doing anything special in the coming weeks?
No, I mean, outside of, well, I'm going to Ottawa, not for that reason. My family's going on vacation, so I'm going to help out with family business. I'll probably be there for 3 weeks. So I'll, I don't know, while they enjoy their Miami stuff or whatever. So I'll just be in Ottawa for a bit, taking that over. Might miss one show on a Friday just so I can hit the road Friday morning and be there for Monday. Outside of that, nothing super crazy.
Huh.
You taking Eddie?
Of course I'm taking Eddie. He's my friggin' best boy.
Sidekick.
He's my sidekick, yeah.
I mean, who else is going to drive while Ryan's sleeping?
Yeah,
exactly.
True. That was my
point. Or talk to him the whole way there, Oh, man. Anyways, well, it's been really fun. We will see you all next week on Crypto Night in Canada. Dun, 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 dun. Have a good week, everybody.